What's going on, everybody? It's Kevin here once again, giving you a gameplay commentary. This is some Destiny news coming for you. What this commentary is going to be about is the information that wasn't necessarily talked about during the Trials of Osiris livestream that happened earlier in the week. We got some great stuff coming to the Crucible, some new gear, free DLC, and some more clarification on the Trials of Osiris. Also, the gameplay that you're watching here is a gameplay of me doing one of the weekly strikes here on Venus, taking out the Archon Priest. And my teammates didn't really want to mess around with jumping around the map a whole lot. This is just random matchmaking. So they kind of want to stay back. You know, if you've never played the map like this, it's a kind of interesting cheese spot you can learn from watching the video. So if you learned something today, don't be afraid to hit that like button. Just saying, helps out the channel. Anyways though, let's get into the information. So let's start off with some of the big news here, that the Dark Below Crucible maps will be free to all players. Now, if you're a Season Pass owner, I can understand being a little pissed off about this, because that's the whole idea of buying the DLC. But of course, then they're probably just doing this to consolidate the player list because they don't want to divide it up even more between people who have DLC and the people who don't have the DLC. Well, let's talk about some Crucible changes here. Crucible marks and rep are doubling across the board. There are also going to be 12 new legendary items that can drop in the Crucible. Crucible rewards have doubled in their frequency, and the better you play, the more likely you are rewarded. Completing the daily Crucible objective will give you a reward package that will contain passage coins for items that help in the Trials of Osiris, such as Glimmer, Motes of Light, and more. Now, how about some information about the Trials of Osiris that are coming here in the House of Wolves DLC? Well, trial passages are going to cost 100 Glimmer. The elimination game mode is going to be available at all times, though the trials are only going to be available during the weekend. And the big thing I'm really happy about that they chose for the Trials of Osiris is that the way the matchmaking is going to work is that they're going to choose connection over skill. For public matches, I completely agree. We've seen this issue come up previously with Call of Duty. This issue also comes up in Halo as well. If it tries to match you with higher ranking players, more than likely that they're going to be much further away from you. So then that brings in the issue of lag, and when you have high skilled players trying to play with latency happening, it becomes really inconsistent and not enjoyable gameplay. And also, on a side note, Etheric Light is guaranteed to drop at level 3 and 5 of the Iron Banner. So now that we have the information out of the way, let's get into some discussion here. One thing definitely being the Dark Below DLC being free. That's awesome for me because I actually don't have any of the DLC for Destiny. For the people who have already bought the DLC and now that's being available to other players, at least for the Crucible maps, I can understand that being rather frustrating or annoying because you paid this money so you can have this content. Later on, they're just going to give out that content for free. It really devalues your purchase. And I can see it really upsetting the player base about that. So on the other hand though, I have a feeling what's probably going to happen is that since there are DLC multiplayer maps that are going to be coming with the House of Wolves, they'll have that to be a separate playlist, and then what they're going to do is integrate the Dark Below maps in with the regular Crucible maps. So what they're trying to avoid here is dividing out the player base too much to where you can't find a good quality match, because you know, some people may have just the House of Wolves DLC. Some people might just want to buy the Dark Below. Some people don't have the DLC at all. And you have to match up those players with the players who have the same content, which really shrinks down the player base. I came across this issue a lot back in Black Ops 1. And that was a really popular game. We're talking about Call of Duty, like one of the most popular games on a shooter. I would constantly have issues with connection and finding players because all I had was like the one DLC and the third DLC. I never bought the second DLC. So yeah, it is kind of a crappy move on Bungie to do that to people who already paid money for this, but for gameplay quality, I understand, and it does make sense. And how about this for the Crucible, that rewards have doubled in their frequency, and the better you play, the more likely you're going to be rewarded. I think a lot of people have been asking for this for Destiny since launch, because right now there is no point to actually do well in the Crucible because you have just the same amount of chance as someone who gets a 0.5 KD in a deathmatch mode and a guy who gets a 7 KD have just the same amount of likelihood of getting good loot. So even this might alienate the more casual gamer who's, you know, not that great at the game, but it might give players an incentive to actually learn how to play and do better. And with the increased frequency of the drops, it gives players probably more reason to play the Crucible, because right now I'm just kind of playing the Crucible because I enjoy it. It's fun, and you know, if I get something nice, that's kind of cool. Personally, I have not actually received anything that great from playing the Crucible, even though I'm only have a hunter that's level 24 at the moment. But you know, I have another character that reached max rank as well, and never really received anything from the Crucible that was worth using. The thing they're doing with this next update is that they're going to give the Crucible players some love. And it's also great to see that the elimination game mode that's coming with the House of Wolves is also going to be just a regular playlist coming to Destiny. It does seem like a very intense competitive mode, which I think Destiny could really benefit from. Watching from the live stream earlier in the week, I think this could be a really fun thing to jump in with 2 other friends and then go at it. It might be a great live commentary content. But anyways, guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about these changes coming to Destiny. If you're mainly a Crucible player, are you liking the changes that are coming for it? Seems like now the Crucible players are finally getting some love when it comes to getting some good loot. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the informational video, please hit that like button. It greatly helps out the channel. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.